Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
We're
Well, well. Hey, let's go.
back.
Let's go. Let's go. Welcome back, fam. We are back after a 2 week hiatus. It's your fearless host, Joxy and Deggs, and we got ourselves a special guest today,
Yo,
Ronnie.
yo, 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 yo.
So let's go ahead and let's start it off per usual, and let's crack it. Cheers, buddy.
buddies.
Oh man, it's great to have you on.
So glad to be
I was gonna say you're gonna have to talk
Yeah.
into the mic.
Yeah, no. Mic, I'm new to the mic stuff. Used to doing everything off my phone. Now I got a mic in front of me. I'm like,
This official.
yeah, but I love it.
So, well, we had ourselves a little bit of a 2 week hiatus. Obviously, if you listen to our NBA episode that we just recorded, you already know we just had a lot of stuff going on in life in general, but we're back and better. Got a new spot. We're pretty much all settled in, and yeah, we're here to go ahead and give you guys another great episode of the NFL. So, um, Dags, you want to start us off as we usually do with the records?
Yep, we'll do here. So I had the records from 2 weeks ago included in this. Obviously, we don't have a last week record because we didn't make our picks. So you got me still right now, 83 and 42 to my 76 and 49. Trying to cut down. I think that's too many games. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to catch you honestly at this point. I think I did too many gambles early on here. He needs to have a bomb week. Uh, so hopefully we
I just wish that would go ahead and translate to my bets.
I wish it did for you too.
E3.
But yeah, so you have a 7-game lead right now. So it is an interesting slate. I'm hoping that we have some different picks coming up here, and
Yeah.
maybe I can make up some ground.
Well, I mean, don't call it a comeback, but
Hey, I got it's we're gonna be going till
you're
like
not
week
that far. You're not that far
17,
behind.
8,
You're not
18.
that
I
far.
mean,
You're not that far behind if you look at it.
I just need to have some good weeks.
Yeah.
Chip away.
You need to
Arizona.
stop picking New Orleans and being a Derek Carr lover over
Well,
here.
well, wait until we get to that team here. All right? Wait until we get to it.
Every
Hold on.
single
In that
we talked about
division,
this.
coming into the year, are you trying to tell me they didn't have the most complete team?
I said Tampa Bay. I've said Tampa Bay, and I'm going to stick. I'm going to stand on it. Tampa Bay.
All right, Arizona at Pittsburgh. That's the first game here we got started off. So, Arizona last week they got blown out by the Rams. Pretty depressing game for them. Kyler Murray, he had a rushing touchdown. He did throw one, but not his best game. McBride and Brown had nice games there. McBride had 60 yards. Brown had 88. Something to note, I think James Conner, his snaps took a dip. I think it was because of the blowout, but that's something to monitor.
I hate it.
To think about. Yeah, I know. My brother was mad too.
I benched him because I'm just like I'm over it. Like you're not doing anything for me now.
Well, they also just signed Michael Carter, who actually played a decent amount of snaps, and it looks like he's the number 2 now. Like that's the guy that's going to be, because the Jets cut him, Michael, the running back,
Yeah.
and he picked him up, and he played a good bit of snaps.
Damn.
So that's something to keep in mind. I don't know if he's going to come in more into.
Why didn't that? I don't feel like that ever got reported.
And then Pittsburgh, right? So they had the first game.
I'm like, why am I just hearing this? Like, this is news to me. Like, I feel like I'm.
It was. I mean,
flooded with NFL news.
It was
and
a little under the radar.
Yeah.
Thing. It just he got dropped. They picked him off of waivers, and then they played him a decent amount this week. So then they cut Keontae Ingram. So I think he's the number 2 now. And then Pittsburgh. So it was the first game without Canada. The offense definitely looked a lot better. I'm still not sold on Pickett, but Freiermuth had a big game. He had.
I think I picked up Freiermuth in your league. and I was,
I was gonna try and steal him real quick. I can't.
whoo,
Darren
boy,
Waller on IR.
He's been out there, and he's the way he could save some people's seasons going into the playoffs here. If
yeah,
you have Mark Andrews or something like that, he's a great replacement. 120 yards, 9 catches, 11 targets. If that's something to obviously 11 targets is a lot, but if he's going to get 6, 7 targets a game,
yeah,
that's kind of elite status there. And the other thing to note is Najee Harris had a big game too. He's looking a lot better the last 2 weeks. 15 carries, 99 yards, and a touchdown. All that being said, though, I still think Arizona is going to
okay.
get the dub.
So we're disagreeing already on the first one. So I'm taking Pittsburgh on this one, and I will never believe in Arizona this year. Um, Obviously, I'm not a fan of Gannon down there, but at the same time, like I just the whole team itself after the few weeks with Connor being back and Kyler being back as well, nobody's doing anything, right? I understand that you're saying your points with having Michael Carter that could go ahead and be a spark for them. I just don't see it happening. Even with Hollywood's not even doing
I
anything
just
as
think
well, right? The whole offense in a whole right now is like
I think
it,
they had
it
a
seems like it's
bad
like flat,
they had a
very flat.
bad week last week, but Pittsburgh's offense I still don't think is anything special. And I just think that my logic is I think the Cardinals will outdo that
What
do
do I
them.
always say though?
Defense wins.
Exactly. And
Well,
I'm going to stand on that. Is that their defense is going to go ahead and get to Kyler. You're gonna see TJ Watt go ahead and get to Kyler.
that's very yes.
I think that their secondary is good enough to go ahead and hang with their receivers. So on top of that, their Pittsburgh that first game without Canada
It looked
looked
a lot
damn
better.
good.
It looked a lot better.
They're
Ronnie,
playing against a
who you got?
very pedestrian
You
team
got
right
you got
now.
you got one guy going one way. You got one guy.
I'm gonna have to go with Pittsburgh. Even
Okay.
though they're my division rival, I'm not. I think Pittsburgh will still win.
Okay.
Arizona's just they're not all there. Like they're just it's something about
And
them.
I'm not and I don't think they're anything special, but I think it's two mediocre teams,
Two
one just has
mediocre,
a better defense.
right?
better offense. Cardinals,
Mm,
100%. Kyler
I-
Murray's
Who are-
way
all right,
better
all right.
than
All right, you're taking Kyler over Pickett, of course.
right.
Are you taking Najee over Connor?
Wash.
I take Warren instead.
To say we're gonna.
True.
Well,
I still think it's a
it's
wash.
like that. That I was gonna say with them, they're like. I want to say they're equals at this rate.
I think it's a wash.
Yeah. All right. So
Receivers, I mean
Pickens,
Pickens and Brown.
Pickens.
Pickens by a mile.
Yep.
And I
Deontay.
Deontay McBride. Rondell. Who am I? There's someone I'm forgetting. Michael Wilson. I just like. Okay, hold on. Everyone you're naming, how come this Pittsburgh offense hasn't been? Don't say just because of Matt Canada.
I'm not going to say it hasn't been because of Matt Canada. It's obviously because of Pickett's not just consistent as well.
They also only put up 16 points last week, so you guys know.
Okay.
Just so you freaking know. All right. Cardinals basically matched that in a loss, so let's move on.
I'm standing on it.
No, I love it.
I love it.
This is where my comeback begins. The Cardinals are where I make up ground. That's where it first starts. Denver at Houston.
I think we're going to agree on this one. Well, actually, I don't know. It's been a few weeks.
I don't know if we're going to. So, Denver right now, whether Joxie wants to hear it or not.
Oh, here we go.
Is the hottest. Might be the hottest team in football right now.
God.
6 straight wins. I mean,
and against good teams.
They've had some good wins. Only had to pass 22 times last week. Okay. Javonte Williams is looking great now. 73%, 73 total yards, 70% snaps, 52% of routes run. I think he's part of the reason to have this late season. We're gonna have a late season push. The defense played pretty well last week too, only giving up 12 points. Then on the Houston side, so I love Houston. Don't act. I know. I love Houston.
We've talked plenty of times.
They have a great offense. Tank Dell, I think, and Nico Collins are top 20 receivers the rest of the way. Dell had 50 yards and a touchdown, 104 yards and a touchdown for Nico. They do have a sneaky good run defense. Schultz, something to monitor. He didn't his snaps dipped a lot. He's been dealing with a hamstring injury. Don't know if there something there. I just think they're a young team. I think Denver's hot. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna take Denver right now.
I'm going Houston. I don't know what it is with Houston, but they just got me.
They're fun.
Yeah,
They are fun. It's always a shootout. It's always a thriller.
yeah. But I think Houston, since they're so young, and I think they're gonna get that dub.
A few years ago, this would have been like, let's say if you would have had like young Russ against C.J. Stroud, this would have been a shootout game.
Oh, 100%.
1,000%, right? This would have been a game that probably, honestly, everybody would have been like, "Oh, this is a game to watch this week," right? Um, this time right now, I just don't see it. I mean, Houston's defense isn't that great. I mean, they're all right, but they're not that great. Denver does have, I think, a better defense, obviously, with who am I blanking on there as their secondary?
Certain.
Yes, I do think Houston takes it. I'm gonna ride C.J. Stroud. I love C.J. I have him obviously on fantasy too, so in 2 leagues. So I'm big on CJ this year.
So that's either 2 games I'm falling farther behind, or that's 2 games I'm
yeah, I don't mean there's not much that I have to say about this one because I'm not a big fan of. I can't stand. I told you about this plenty of times. I think Sean Payton needs to go ahead and go back to analyzing games, dude, because I just don't think that he.
6 straight.
There's something about it with like the way that this league is moving towards and how these players are being coached, and he has that old school mentality. Some of these players ain't gonna want to go ahead and play for him.
The one thing I'll say is this with him: it's clear he inherited a lot of what was there,
Right.
and it's clear he wants his own thing. Whether that means Russ can be there or not, but I think just in general, like that that team next year is gonna look a lot different. Like obviously Judy ain't gonna be there. I think they like Sutton. Javante is a big piece, but they've let like a lot of guys like Randy Gregory, they let him go in this year. So I think that we're going to see a lot of new faces there.
But then it gets to the point then that they're pretty much going to be rebuilding, and Russ is going to end up retiring, and then who's going to end up taking over?
I think the objective would be it's almost like it's a rebuild, but it's a competitive rebuild. I think is what
that's what they have in mind. That's what they want it to be. But listen, Russ, father, he can't be father time, and he has not been looking that great this year. Granted, they've been winning. What, they've won like 5 games straight now.
Let's say it's something like I don't know. Let's say like Kirk Cousins doesn't get back with the Vikings and they get him. Do you think that does anything for them?
I don't know if that moves the needle. That doesn't really move the needle to me. I mean,
that would be. I'm just saying. I guess my point is that's probably the alternative unless he's able to draft someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But once again, I mean,
yeah,
I'm just thinking about that landscape of that team, and
it
just doesn't it doesn't look good if Sean's trying to go ahead and win something soon. It's not happening, buddy.
Let me say it straight. I don't think they're actually a good team. I just think they're hot. So that's what I'm thinking of this week.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, all things got to come to an end. So you might be right. You might be right.
Well, we both got Houston, me and Ron.
Miami.
That's 2 we can agree on. Sorry.
Miami and Washington. Now I think we're going to be on the same page. Miami and Washington. Yeah. Hit me with it. Let's go.
Yeah, so Miami blew the Jets out. First Black Friday game. I enjoyed it, even though, the Jets suck. 100 yards each for the dynamic duo, Waddle and Hill. Hill had a touchdown. Mostert had a nice day as well. He had 20 carries, 94 yards, 2 touchdowns, including that one at the end that I thought he was going to pull a Brian Westbrook on me and slide at the 1. Thank God he did. Jeff Wilson, clearly the number 2 now. Finally kind of breaking the barrier there. He had 11 carries, 11 carries himself, 35% of snaps. So that offense they look good. Washington, they got blown out on Thanksgiving. Didn't look good. Sam Howell had a rushing touchdown early. That was the only touchdown I think they had. 100 yards for Curtis Samuel. He looked pretty darn good. Dotson and McLaurin are the guys that keep running 90% of routes or above. The one thing I have to say about this team is they fired Jack Del Rio after the game, and in my opinion, that was a cop out. They needed to just fire freaking Rivera and just let Benenemy
That's another thing I did not ever.
coach the rest of the year. Like
That's
why
another thing that I didn't even hear. What was this
I
not
didn't hear about
reported?
that at all.
the day after they said, "See ya."
I didn't even see that.
What the hell?
I mean, don't get me wrong. He probably had to go because they gave up an absurd amount of yards. It was a pathetic performance.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it was
come
just
on.
bad. It was bad.
We get Rivera out of there. And yeah, I think we're all gonna agree. I got Miami.
Yeah, I have Miami on this. There's no like to elaborate really quick. Did you guys know about the Black Friday like law with the NFL? So suppose I heard this that you can't have and like any sporting events, and I'll look up the exact law or whatever, but this was something that was like something created like years ago. You can't have any sporting events playing. I think they said starting at 6 o'clock. So that's why they had the game early.
3, so it ended by
It
6.
ended at 6, and then they were good. So that whole thing was like that was pretty interesting. They were talking about it, I think, before the game. So that was just something.
That's right.
It was random.
Why
I went
wouldn't they have the game like at 1?
I went to school. I went to school for sports broadcasting, so like I know about these weird like laws. Like I know you can't. They so like obviously when we were kids, you remember like as soon as 10 o'clock happened, you would see all these shows that they would have like all the cuss words on it. After 10 o'clock, you can go ahead and have whatever on TV. Essentially, like you can say fuck, you can say bitch, you can say whatever the hell you want.
That's why those
So
the shows and
those
whatnot,
shows that
they
are
air later. Yeah.
they air later on. Anyways, going back to it. So yeah, going. This is I got Miami on this one. The one thing I will say with Miami or with Washington is that their offense is pretty exciting in some ways. They have some good pieces. I love Curtis Samuel. I have Curtis Samuel in our league that we created, and last week he had I think 100 yards receiving.
100 yards and
So
100 yards
he
on
was
9
he.
catches.
Gosh, hold on, give me a second. Throat's dry. So yeah,
You need a cold one.
God, I need a cold one here. But yeah, so he obviously he did well for me there.
Their offense is just
Their
inconsistent,
offense
man.
it's very inconsistent.
When
Yeah,
it's
that's what it
when
is.
it's going well.
Now, a lot of people are saying that um, with this whole organization now having Magic Johnson as the owner, that obviously there's going to be changes in the offseason, right? What happens if Eric Bieniemy gets fired too? Because they were saying that like essentially the whole team itself isn't performing well, and Eric Bieniemy's it's almost like it's Ron is 1A, Eric is 1B.
My, yeah.
So
if it was me, I'd make him the coach, and then not only that though, because the offense, part of the reason they're not performing the way they should is because that offensive line is dog shit. It's one of the probably 5 worst offensive lines in the league.
let me move back here so I can get more in it.
If they're able to invest in that, I think that we could see a dramatic change.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it, and think about it. Why did Dallas blow them out so bad? That's their bread and butter, pass rush.
Yep.
They got to them a ton.
Yep. Well, yeah, not like I said, not much to say. I mean, Miami. This is going to be an easy game. I'll give you guys an early little betting tidbit. I would definitely go ahead and put the over 100 yards for Tyreek Hill, and I would put two touchdowns for Tyreek Hill this Sunday for sure.
Can we save one for Mostert, please?
Mostert definitely always gets his.
He
always gets his. If they're ever down there at that, he always gets his.
They chain out.
It was the one player that I had to get rid of recently.
See what happened to H.
He's coming back.
He's coming back again.
He's coming back this week. Yeah, they say he's playing.
Okay.
Yeah, so he'll be out there. All right, Indy and Tennessee. Well, this is your boys, so I'll let you go ahead and start this off right here.
Yeah, so I'll start with Indy. They had a nice thriller win versus Tampa Bay. JT had a great game, 91 yards and 2 tutties, but it did come at a price. He did hurt his finger. We know he's going to have a little procedure, miss a few weeks here. So wheels up for Zach Moss. If you've been stashing him,
Yeah.
now's his time. And he's shown he's a viable option
Yeah.
when he's in there. Minshew made some nice throws. Pittman was the high man, 107 yards on 10 catches. They continue. Their offense continues to look solid, I think.
Mhm.
And then on the Titans side, right? So, not a pretty win, but that's usually a Titans win when it's like that anyway. They were able to get the best of Carolina. Derrick Henry, I told you he was going to have a little vintage performance. He did.
Boy, did he.
76 yards, 2 touchdowns. Definitely, great game for him. Spears continues to be inefficient and not on the field quite as much with Levis out there now.
Yeah.
I think a big reason is because Levis is willing to push the ball down the field, which Tannehill wasn't. He just would check down Charlie. So, which I like. I like the aggressiveness. He's not afraid to.
Check down Charlie.
Oh, yeah, man. Unfortunately, the Titans give up the freaking deep ball like it's free candies, and I think Pittman and company are gonna. That's Minshew's type of forte. He likes to launch it. I think they're gonna get the best of us on the road and get the win. Yeah.
This is one that, honestly, these next 2 games that we have on to talk about are just like ugly games. Unfortunately.
Thank you.
Sorry. I am going with Tennessee because I don't believe in Gardner Minshew. Personally, I just don't see it. I think Tennessee overall just. I like Will. I like Will Levis.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Will. That first game that he came in, ever since then, I was like, you know what?
He has it. It's just
It's just a matter of
It's
time.
gonna be growing pain.
right.
So.
Of course,
And this
especially
is
with that
this is
team.
an opportunity for him to go ahead and listen. If this is a team that
It's a good team. That secondary is not good. So, which you're
now
not.
this is the thing though. Their secondary is not that good, but their front seven is pretty good.
And our offensive line's dog
Yep.
shit too.
Because I was thinking about this. I have them in fantasy, and that's a team. Oh, hey, Esco. Just had my dog just barge to our room here. Huh? You're good. But yeah. So with that whole thing, actually, can we get? Hey, Esco, let's go downstairs.
Sorry,
So we got my dog up in the room right now, and
go see Mr. Jace.
as you guys could probably hear him in the background. If you were watching the video though, you see him on my shirt. Big man Esco. But yeah, so going back to it,
That's a good point.
yeah, their front seven is pretty good. So, do I think that they can go ahead and get to Will enough? Yeah, I mean that's going to be something that
it's going to come down to the moments, right?
That's what it's going to come
when
down
the guy's
to.
over, he's got to hit him.
This is like it's toss up.
Yeah.
I don't really know who to go for. I mean, I'm going to ride it. I'm going to go for Tennessee. I got you.
Okay, I love it because I don't have the faith.
I'm gonna have to go to Indy.
Yeah. I know Ronnie don't have the faith. So
None.
Well, what's funny is that I have
I still-
Indy.
I
I
still
have
like
Indy
you
starting
guys.
as a defense because of the fact that they're playing Tennessee, and I'm like, I'm freaking going for Tennessee right now.
But you did make a good point though, because they do have a weak secondary. If Will's able to put it on those guys when he has those opportunities, they do have a shot. We'll see.
What do you got, Ronnie?
He's got it.
I got Indy by
large margin.
Nah. I say like 4.
4 points.
4 points. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go off on a sidebar real quick. So your boys are on a bye.
Yes, we are.
Ronnie's a big fan of.
Tell them who your boys are.
Yeah.
The Ravens.
So what do you? Yeah. Tell us a little bit. What do you think about them this year?
I mean, us losing Mark Andrews, that sucks. I mean, but I hopefully our receivers can, step
Odell's
up.
starting to look a little better.
Bro, Zay is
God.
a monster.
Zayday.
Zayday,
That's
I
what I
like
say. Zayday. He's
Bateman is someone I like a lot too, but he just can't stay on the field, man.
He can't. Yeah.
When he's out there, he has like
He shows flashes of
yeah,
like,
he has
what
that
can
alpha talent.
Yeah,
I see it, but he's made of glass, man.
yeah. And I hate that. I feel like
You think you win the division?
of course. Do you see our division? Everybody's quarterback's
I
hurt.
mean, you just picked the Steelers to get another dub.
Okay,
so.
against the Cardinals. Come on now. It's the Cardinals.
They're game behind.
He's still
It's
butt.
okay.
He's still butthurt about that we picked the Steelers.
I
Sorry.
think I think I agree. I think the Ravens are more than likely gonna pull away with it. There is no reason not to with Burrow out of the
Burrow's
equation.
out. And,
Cleveland's a fraud. Clearly.
I mean, they beat us, so.
Well, yeah, that wasn't your best moment.
Yeah, like we had. I think it was a 14.
You had the lead and you gave it up.
14 to 17 point lead,
You
and we gave it
You
up.
guys do that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get too comfortable.
Yep.
Oh, we're up 30, and
Lamar
there's
wanna
no
be a
chance.
little
Sometimes they get a little conservative. They're just like, oh, they try to play the clock.
Well,
game.
yeah. Which
and then they get 3 and outs.
No, Lamar's like me when I'm in a sandbox. He just tries to get too sexy and then fucks it all up. And I'm trying. That's like me when I'm trying to get the ball out of the sandbox. Too sexy. Can't do it.
Mark Andrews is big.
Ain't that right, Justin?
It'd be. I think if they're gonna make a deep playoff run, he will have to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which they did say
is in the realm of possibility.
It was possible of happening. Me personally, I don't think it does.
See, that worries me. But I'd say your defense is pretty legit.
Our defense, I love it.
Yeah,
especially
defense is solid.
We have Marlon Humphrey out there, and we're still holding it down.
Who's on the other side? You still
Brock Yasin.
Who's number 41 on your defense?
41.
He's a linebacker.
Yeah, but he looks like a safety.
Oh my gosh.
I cannot think of his name. I know exactly what you're talking
about. Daryl Worley. Snaps.
Love it.
I was watching. There was like, what was it, last week that I was watching the game?
Yeah, we played that Sunday night against
Marcus Williams and Kyle Hamilton. That's what I'm thinking of.
Kyle Hamilton.
Those guys are monsters.
Kyle Hamilton. All right. So I've never been a fan of like Notre Dame players. I don't know why. It's just something I just like when it translates to the NFL.
It's like how I feel about Pac-12 players. They suck when they come to the NFL.
Yeah. You guys got Darby too. You got Ronald Darby.
Yeah, we just got him.
Rock
actually.
Yassin. Yeah. Okay, that's who you were talking about. Geno Stone.
Geno Stone. He's
Ronald Darby did well for the Birds.
Kyle Van Noy. That's
got,
recent.
got a bird. Got a ring.
That's because Bowser.
Kyle Van Noy came off the couch.
Patrick Queen, Roquan Smith, Jadeveon Clowney, O'Day.
I wasn't sold on Clowney. I'm not gonna lie.
He's old. I mean, he has his flash at that time.
Yeah, but since we signed him, he's played a lot better over the weeks.
You guys got some names here for sure. Kyle Hamilton, he's a freaking headhunter, though, man. That man loves blowing people up. I'll tell you that much. No, but I like your team. Your offense without Andrews in the playoffs works.
Yeah.
Hopefully, in these next couple of weeks, we can figure everything out.
You guys right now are what? Like you would be like the 2 seed, 3 seed, something like that.
No, I think we're the 1 seed.
You're the 1.
I'm pretty
sure
we're 1 right now. Yeah.
So I think that's important too.
Yeah, we definitely need that. I hope we can stay.
You guys are definitely one of the better teams in the AFC.
Yeah.
I think so.
I'm just happy. It's good to see good football in Baltimore.
I would love to have a
Baltimore Eagles. Battle of the Birds.
That would be. First off,
in real life,
that'd probably be the most ratchet.
Oh,
that would be the most ratchet like Super Bowl ever.
Baltimore versus Philly.
Baltimore versus people. Yeah.
Ooh, that ain't.
Battle of the accents.
I love the accent.
I hate Baltimore's accents. I freaking can't stand it.
I love it.
I love Philly accents, but I can't stand Baltimore accents. But yeah, y'all are gonna be good. Y'all are gonna be good. I'm a big fan of Zay. Love Zay. I made a trade with Nasser in our league, and he asked for Zay, and I was like, "Nah, I'll give you Waddle." I'd much rather have given up Waddle instead of Zay. Much rather have given up Waddle instead of Zay.
I think if your team, if they get that, they need that long term complementary receiver to Zay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying him per se, but someone like a skill set of like a Hopkins, right? Can push the field a little more.
I was hoping we did
I,
get him.
I think
but
I mean I still think he has a lot in the tank personally. I think he
Yeah.
looks good. He's always open still.
Yeah.
But I think that's that missing piece of the offense. I think for your team, which Bateman could be if he's there
But he's
freaking
just-
16 games,
Yeah.
but he's not, and then he's inconsistent because he's not healthy.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's always hurt.
He's always hurt.
He's
So
always
I
hurt.
hate it that he's always
Yeah.
hurt
Yeah.
because I know he can be a
Yeah,
good
no,
receiver.
he was.
Really good.
I was
receiver.
high on him coming out of college.
All right, let's get back at it. So we got next game on the schedule. We have Atlanta at the New York Jets.
That is Johnson's game of the week.
Whomper freaking game. Let's see if I remember which one that this is. Nope, that's not it. There we go. We got the boo. Can't stand. I just can't stand either team personally. You know how I feel about Atlanta. I've talked about it all season. Can't stand Atlanta. I hate Arthur Smith. Personally, hang it up, dude. Stop. Just stop.
I mean, he just
goes
got a-
back.
he's
He goes
got a
back and
dub.
forth. Oh, you want to go ahead and get Heineke? Oh no, we're gonna go back to Ritter. Like, what? I hate that whole thing. Like, you're gonna take out your starting quarterback,
They're winning the
and then you're
division
gonna
right now.
ruin his confidence, and then you're gonna be like, oh, let me bring you back. No, come on now, stop. I don't believe in that team. With the Jets, come on now, like that. Like, do I have to say anything about the Jets? Like, the Jets Jets are only winning solely because of their defense. That's the only thing. The only reason why they've won games this whole entire year is because of their defense. Until that they go ahead and realize that, all right, you're not gonna go anywhere this season, and therefore, does Aaron Rodgers even need to come back? No.
He's not going to. This whole thing. This whole thing. I think practicing and all that. I feel like it's just for him to say, "Hey, I did it." Like I mean, he did. He's freaking throwing balls out.
He comes back though. If it's like what for what?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, another game or two, they're gonna be out of it.
You play in the worst fucking stadium in the whole entire damn league.
He's not playing this year.
Like,
I don't think
this is a game I really
He's
wish
not
I
playing.
didn't
I
have
think
to pick a
It's
team.
a show. You know what I mean? Yeah.
This is a game I really wish I didn't have to pick. Like, I wish I didn't have to pick this game.
So the Jets is. I really don't. I really don't have anything to really say.
I'm gonna ask my wife.
They're
I'm
starting.
gonna text her.
They're starting Timmy B again. I think that's all you need to hear. Everyone's gonna suffer because of that. It's just as bad as starting Wilson, but it's another name. Atlanta, right after the bye, you didn't think they can get any more run heavy? They were more run heavy. They only threw 38.7% of the time. Bijan did have a really nice day, though. He had 91 yards and a touchdown, and then he had 32 yards receiving and a touchdown. So 2 touchdown game for him. Algier and Patterson basically split the carries as the backup. Drake London continues to be the high man as well. 91 yards on 5 catches. I do like what I see out of him, even with that whole quarterback thing going on. He's legit. He's a good talent. I just think for me, it's as easy. I think that Atlanta's defense is not they're no slouch. They're solid. I think they have enough on offense, better offensive line. I think they win this game.
I sent it the text also to Tati.
What?
Falcons or Jets? My wife doesn't want to read my text. Clearly,
I know for sure Tati's gonna pick the Falcons. She loves. I don't know how she got this accent when she say it. I don't know how she say it, but like, I think she's gonna pick the Falcons.
you guys speaking to the mic.
Oh, I thought I was. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep eye contact with
If we
you.
need to move it back and forth, go ahead. Like,
Yeah.
All right.
George, you know what I mean?
All right, I got you.
Yeah.
Just trying to
Yeah.
touch it. Sorry.
Justin, who would you pick? Falcons or Jets?
I think it's easy. They're able. The difference between these two teams, in my opinion, the Falcons have shown the ability to still grind out wins.
All right, I'll ride it. Falcons. And if I see that they're not playing
Are you
Bijan
sure you don't want
Robinson,
to take the Jets?
fuck no, I'm not
Go
playing.
ahead.
I'm gonna fucking
Go ahead, take 'em.
You were thinking about it.
It's only because you know how I am. I'm a big man on defense, bro. I'm all about defense.
You also
And
don't like Arthur Smith.
I really cannot stand Arthur Smith. His freaking mustache, and then when he shaves, he looks like a freaking naked mole rat, fat naked mole rat.
He does kind of.
Yeah, disgusting. Looks like a freaking child going through puberty.
So we got Atlanta across the board here.
Yeah.
Atlanta across the board.
All right, Detroit and New Orleans.
Ooh, my teams.
I'm gonna go ahead and give it to you right now. I'm picking Detroit. I'm just still gonna ride the wave, even though that they've had some inconsistencies these past few weeks.
I got Detroit as well.
I'm curious what Dex is gonna say.
So first, I'll say my spiel. So
Give us your spiel.
the Detroit Lions had a terrible game
Yeah.
on Thanksgiving.
Oh, we got another. You wanna come on in into the room? Oh boy,
Crazy.
wild.
Back.
Here he goes.
What up? What up?
So yeah, so Detroit had a terrible game on Thanksgiving. I thought that it was finally going to be, the Thanksgiving they finally get a dub. Nope, didn't happen. Lost to the Packers. I think it was embarrassing. Laporta had a great game, touchdown. Amon St. Brown, 95 yards on 9 catches. It's just golf, man. Golf has been inconsistent in between the games, so he's got to pick it up.
Yeah, that's
what it is. It's just he's a man of halves right now, right?
Yeah.
Dottie said Falcons too.
See, I told you, I know my girl, man.
So something important to note, though, for fantasy, right? Jahmyr Gibbs led the backfield with 71% of snaps, 80% of routes.
Let's go.
So he is out there on the
I just
field.
blew that too much.
Blew that, yeah,
that was too
a
much.
ton. But when Monty's out there, man is getting touches. Still had 15 carries, 71 yards in the touchdown.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's that. New Orleans, they are banged up right now, right? No Michael Thomas. It's up in the air if Olave is going to play with the concussion. Shaheed's hurt, so they're kind of really dealing with a handicapped team right now. So Olave did play really well before getting popped out of this. He had 114 yards, but I think with the lack of weapons, and also I do have a lot of love for Detroit. Detroit's going to win.
I'm happy that you said that.
Wow.
I mean, come on. I all the other games though. After this, Ronnie, we're gonna go through the schedule.
Yeah.
and you're gonna.
We did this.
And
when we were going through it, I'm like,
I think I was.
There were like some moments where I'm like, yeah.
The whole time. So when we're done this, we're gonna go through it, and then you're gonna like basically be like, all right.
Yeah. So I think Detroit. I think Detroit is.
And DC's
is
been
legit.
pissing me off, man. I gotta get off that. I gotta get off the DC, the Diet Coke, baby.
All right, so next game we have is the Chargers in New Orleans. New England. Another two teams that are very. I mean, New England sucks.
They're terrible.
New England's horrible.
Terrible.
I don't know who is more worse. Is Carolina? I mean, Carolina obviously has only one win this whole entire season.
I think New England's the worst team in football.
But I was going to say, I think New England probably might be worse than that. Like they don't have. There's no type of
there's talent on Carolina.
Foundation. There's no foundation there.
No.
Besides Bill Belichick.
Ramondre Stevenson is the only redeemable thing on that offense.
Which and then
Judon.
Yeah,
no,
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
And Judon's hurt.
Yeah.
He's their best player on both sides of football, and he's hurt. Kendrick Bourne, who I think was their best receiver, out for the year. I do like Demario Douglas a lot, but he's not a one. He's a complimentary player. You know what I mean? They don't have Stevenson. He had 98 yards in the score, and then Douglas right now. They're the only real options I think on that offense. Who knows who's fucking playing quarterback? I mean, every week it's a guessing game. It might be Zappy. That Malik Cunningham just got activated now, so maybe they're gonna see what they got in him.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm taking the Chargers solely for the fact of everything we're saying here. I just think they're a bad team. I don't like Staley. I think they're an inconsistent team. Their offense should be better than it is, even with Mike Williams out. When you have Eckler and Keenan Allen, I mean, come on. Like, Justin Herbert's supposed to be an elite, you know what I mean? So you got to win some of these tough games. I do think coaching has a lot to do with it, but just because of that, I think the Chargers is almost like a gimme when they need one.
Now, this is a game that I do believe that the Chargers can actually get themselves back.
Yeah.
Um,
Get right game.
you know, it's almost like one of those ones where it's like, here, we're gonna give you this game to go ahead and get you into playoffs, and that'll be it. Like, there's nothing because they're more than likely gonna make the playoffs, but they're obviously not gonna do anything else outside of that. Uh, yeah, New England is just a team. They're literally like a walk-in mat, or not a walk-in mat,
They're like a
a
bye
mat.
week.
They're a mat. You can just literally just walk all
You
over
know?
them. Like they suck. They're
You
horrible.
usually can rest your starters by the fourth quarter.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Those type of games. Unless you're the Giants and Tommy DeVito. What about you, Ronnie? What do you think?
I think the Chargers
Yeah.
take this. This should be
No brainer.
yeah. Like this should just be a walk in the park for them. Like just do what you're supposed to do. Defense, hopefully they show up because we've seen one too many times their defense just
Right.
gets torched.
Play this soft as you
Yeah.
possibly can play.
Especially with all those names on that
Charmin.
defense. Like, how does that? I don't understand how that happens. Like had Joey Bosa,
But like Derwin James,
Khalil Mack. They had J.C. Jackson for a little bit.
Asante Samuel Jr.
Yeah, which
Right.
he's an up and coming corner.
Right.
Like he's still a young guy,
Right.
Yep.
But I just hope that they can figure
Right, because
figure it
at
out
the
this
same
week.
time, no, I know what you're saying. Like
Now, if they lose,
if there's someone that can find a way to lose,
if they lose this game,
it's
Staley's fired.
Staley's fired.
He's gone.
Well, I think he's gone no matter what. I think
Yeah, after the
They're
whole
not-
blow up that he had, especially like with the media.
they're probably not going to make the playoffs.
I don't.
And if
You don't think they're gonna make the playoffs?
they're not going to make the
I
playoffs,
also agree. I think they miss. I think they miss.
I'm as bold. I'm as bold to say that Denver's a bigger threat to Kansas City than they are right
Yeah. You just gotta.
now.
Yeah, I know.
Move back.
Yeah, we just gotta make. We gotta remember that. If y'all listen to the podcast, we're still fresh and new to this thing, so we're still working
This is
on
the
things.
good mic though, so it still might be picking me.
I
up.
was gonna say it is picking. I think I still hear you good enough, but there's some times where you talk away, and it's like
What?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
why I try to remember to go. Especially when I'm trying to make eye contact with you. It's just, hey.
All right, so this is actually the start of the 4 o'clock games. Do you want to crack another one?
Please.
Mamma mia, here I go again. My.
Thank you, sir.
Hey,
Pays for horses.
all the time. Surfside, please sponsor us.
Please.
Actually,
please.
I keep on saying Surfside. Stateside Vodka. Stateside Vodka. Please sponsor us. We would love. I would love to like deck out this whole entire like. My wife probably would not like, but I would love to deck out this whole entire room with like Stateside Vodka stuff.
Yeah.
Get some like merch, and then like
I'd love to
we can
interrupt our podcast to give a little Surfside.
Surfside.
If you need
Go ahead and
if you need a cold beverage on a hot day, maybe you're sweating a little bit from doing the leaves, or
if you're out there playing golf,
cutting the grass on the course, and you need a nice, refreshing drink, maybe you can't do the whole bubbles and the beer. Surfside's for you.
Surfside is
And
for
to
you.
that, we're gonna crack
This cold one, baby. Cheers, fellas. Switch it up on that one. All right. Carolina at Tampa Bay. Well, hold on. We don't have to do the boo because I mean, yeah, the Carolina Panthers suck.
They fired Frank Wright.
Tampa Bay is going to still kick their ass, and I still think that Tampa Bay is going to win their division, even though that's not much to say, because that division sucks.
I think Tampa's the better team in that division as well, and I think Tampa they put it on them boys.
On them.
Put it on
them.
I definitely think Tampa's gonna win this game.
Yeah.
I do. I think as of now, I personally think it's a 3-man race between them, the Falcons, and the Saints. I just think they're all just we won't know till really the last week or two. That's my opinion. Yeah, Carolina. So they fired Wright.
Yeah.
That offense is not looking good. I personally, this is maybe an unfair early assessment. I think they made a mistake with Young. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback. I think when you look at Stroud and some of these guys, Stroud, Levis, some of these guys that have kind of the same issues, not a good offensive line. Stroud does have weapons, but I just haven't seen those flashes yet. The inability to throw the ball down the field,
Yeah.
and then Tampa Bay, you've said it. They're not a bad team. Baker, when he plays well, he plays well. He's able to, Evans is having maybe his best year of the year of his career.
Yep.
They have nice complementary pieces. Rashad White, man, he's a baller. He's looking great this year. He's almost
does
like
his thing.
like a fantasy winner. He had his best rushing day of the year, 15 carries, 100 yards. Yeah, Tampa's gonna roll on that this week.
Yeah. That one's an easy one. Cleveland at LA Rams. Cleveland having Joe Flacco starting for them for coming in there, that's kind of hilarious.
My
Could
boy.
could that go ahead and propel them though? That's the thing, because the Rams aren't that good of a team. Like they're not that great of a team. The 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 Browns do have some weapons. They got Elijah Moore. They got Amari. They got something there. They got a defense, of course. Like me, third ranked best defense in the whole entire league.
Right.
Also in fantasy.
They're legit as hell. Yeah. That
Yeah.
defense, it's stacked.
Yeah.
It's stacked.
Myles Garrett, there was a video I just saw constantly. I replayed it. I saw him and say I replayed it constantly. Him throwing Trent Williams.
That was crazy.
With one arm.
One
That was
arm
crazy.
throwing him, boom, and he didn't get to the sack, but to go ahead and see him just throw, I'm like, yo,
Yeah. He's like the strongest defensive player in the league potentially.
I go back to the sack that he had on Kenny Pickett. It looked like it was somebody like you remember when you were a kid and you would set up like pillows in your room to go ahead and like tackle him, right? That's what it looked like when you were a kid and you were tackling a pillow. Like he just looked like he just like tackled his pillow. He's like bang, because his head was like at his abs.
Yeah.
And so he just like
Superman him.
tackled him, and he's like, oh, smiling and whatnot. I was like, his arms are huge,
Massive.
Myles Garrett's, he is men of all men, a created human being. Like it's ridiculous.
Did you see in the Steelers game?
I'm going with the Browns, by the way.
Browns.
Yeah.
You see in the Steelers game, someone's helmet came off and he picked it up and they're all like, whoa, and they're like, yeah, we don't really like the announcer's like, they don't really trust you with a helmet there, Miles. Like,
he's like, here.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Sorry. He's like, I want nothing to do with that.
So yeah, Cleveland's gonna have Joe Flacco. The one thing I like about Joe, we talked about it earlier, he's not afraid to freaking launch the ball and push the ball down the field. I think that whenever you're
high flying Joe,
when you're a quarterback and you're coming in for relief in some capacity, big game, 4 game, whatever it is, you need to be aggressive. You can't, you want to manage the game. You don't want to do anything to lose the game, but you also got to take shots.
Yeah.
And that's what I think he's going to be able to do with this team. I think that Mari Cooper, like you said, Mari Cooper and Moore are good targets for him. Complement what he does there. Jerome Ford, something to note. He had a lot of the bulk. 71% of snaps, 73% of routes run. So he's kind of edging out Hunt a little bit. Hunt is the guy that they're kind of going to near the goal line. Just something to keep in mind. And then the Rams had a nice day last week. But it was really Kyron Williams. Kyron Williams had 143 yards on the ground, 61 yards catching, 2 touchdowns. He just came back from injury and looked like he never left. Passing game, Puka, Cup, very quiet last game. Atwell and Higbee kind of got things done. 2 touchdowns for Higbee. I think that they're going to be home. They were rolling last week with the offense. Stafford looks a lot more healthy. Kyron Williams is rolling. I think they're able to beat the Browns this week.
Okay.
That's a very tough.
What you got? What you got, Ron?
I know they're
Your division.
my division. I would love for them to lose, but I think their defense is just
Good enough.
good enough to get yeah.
Yeah.
They're gonna hold Stafford and them down.
This was a hard one for me to go to decide on.
Yeah, I got Cleveland.
San Fran at Philly.
Philly. Okay, go ahead, man. Your boys, take it away.
Been waiting for this. So let me get a moment to go ahead and speak to all you San Fran fans right now. Okay.
Go ahead, take a sip. Clear
So
your throat.
let me go ahead. Yeah, let me go ahead and take a sip for y'all right now. Okay. So this isn't for every San Fran fan because I have one that's very close to me, Brian Reed. Love you, man. Love you. But for the rest of y'all haters and the ones that keep on crying and bitching and complaining, talking about, oh, Philly's not the real deal, none of blah blah blah, all this hoo ha. Brock Purdy isn't anything crazy. Brock Purdy isn't somebody that's like he's not a freaking Tom Brady. Y'all think that y'all cracked the code that we got a practice squad player that came in here that was nobody and whatnot, blah blah blah. Come on, now, stop. Yeah, y'all got an offense that got put together. Y'all got Debo, y'all got Ayuk, y'all got a pretty good offensive line, all that rah. Like, okay, y'all plug and play anybody in. Honestly, y'all plug and play Joe Flacco with the 49ers. Joe Flacco probably looking like old Joe Flacco when he was with the Ravens. So I don't buy the whole talk with Brock Purdy. And I personally don't like the whole disrespect that the Eagles keep on getting because of the fact that y'all think that, oh, y'all are going to go ahead and walk up in the stadium and just walk around and drag us down the field and bust our ass. That's not happening. At the end of the day, I think the Eagles go ahead and win this. Primarily because I think that Hassan Reddick has another chip on his shoulder now because of the fact that y'all keep on talking about, oh, we didn't have Brock last year, so we would have beat y'all last year. Well, guess who knocked Brock out last year? Hassan. So you don't think Hassan go ahead? He's not hearing all that shit. 1,000%. I think Hassan's go ahead and he already has Brock marked. He's like, listen, I'm gonna go ahead. If I have to go ahead and hurt you, I'm sorry. I don't hope anybody gets injured. I'm not saying injured, but hurt. Oh yeah, it's going to be one of those games. It's going to be one of those games. It's going to be a bloody game. It's going to be a match where if there's some players out on their pregame, there might be some chippiness that's going on. They talk a lot of shit. Debo talks a lot of shit. Like that whole team just talks a lot of shit. Trent Williams with his whole his whole bullshit that he does. He's a dirty ass player. So I'm listen, like they're gonna have to answer to some strong boys this week. I mean, you got Jalen Carter now this year that they didn't have to face last year. Obviously, Fletch is not looking too good with playing, so he might not be out there. But I believe in Jalen Carter. I believe in Jordan Davis. If we get Milton Williams back, come on now. Like we still have some depth at that position. So people keep on thinking that we have these these injuries and that we're not going to be anything. No, Eagles are still going to come out there. Jalen, I still believe in Jalen. AJ's. This is a game, like I said earlier with Miami. Yo, for real. I think AJ might have two tutties on this one. This could be a game that he comes back. He hasn't had a game in these past few weeks.
He's been a little quieter.
He's been a little quieter. You don't think that team's looking at Devontae like, let me go ahead and stop Devontae over? I mean, obviously they want to go ahead and stop AJ. I got my boys. I'm gonna stop because they got my blood boiling over here. Oh man, I'm ready to drop every F bomb and oh god. I wish I was going to that game. I wish I was.
That's the game of the year to go to.
I had my brother-in-law that called me yesterday, so I bought Amanda tickets for the Jonas Brothers for her birthday, and it just so happens that it's tomorrow night. My brother-in-law calls me yesterday because he has season tickets to the Eagles, and somebody bailed out. one of those moments where I'm like,
You gotta go.
I gotta.
She don't got a girlfriend. You can.
I'm like, does your sister like the Jonas Brothers?
Elena.
Helena doesn't like the Jonas
I don't
Brothers. Oh. And then we were watching ESPN this morning, and she heard them talking about the game and how it's the biggest game this season and everything, and she's like, I feel really bad, and I'm like,
What's your favorite Joe Burrow song,
mm.
man?
I'm like,
Well,
I want to go.
where's the concert at?
It's in DC.
Damn. Okay, you doing a little day thing?
No.
Just going for the concert. I didn't know.
Yeah, we're just going for the
yeah,
concert. I want to be here to watch some football.
I understand. Yeah, so let's talk about the teams here. So San Francisco blew out the Seahawks on Thanksgiving. Defense looked great, held them to 13 points. McCaffrey had himself a day, 114 yards, 2 tutties, 25 in the air. Ayuk had a touchdown. It was more of a Debo game in the air. 79 yards, 7 catches, 9 targets. Eagles, another good grinder, another good win versus the Bills.
Nail biter.
Yeah, no, it was a great game. Jalen had himself a rushing touchdown. Who would have thought, right? Swift, I like what I saw out of him. 14 carries, 80 yards. He did dominate 62% of snaps, 50% on routes run. A.J. Brown caught a touchdown. Devonta Smith was the high man, 106 yards. I was going back and forth. I have been going back and forth with this game. I am taking San Fran for 2 reasons. One, because I knew you'd take the Eagles, and I got to make up ground. 2, the Eagles have just had a lot of these draining games, right? The Chiefs game, the Bills game. It's not that I don't think they could get it done again or anything like that, but I think I believe there has to be a point that they're at least going to have one more loss, just because of you know what I mean, just exactly what I'm saying. It's just the wear and tear. I think it's going to be a close game no matter what.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking maybe this is it. They just they had 2 huge wins. You know what I mean, where they didn't start off great, come from behind, and that's what I got. That's what I got for you. It could go either way. This is the game of the week. I'm excited personally, especially I can imagine how you're excited as an Eagles fan, but just as someone outside looking in from the rival, as a football fan, it's a great game.
Yeah.
Ronnie,
as much as I don't want to, I'm gonna have to go with Philly with this one. I think Philly's gonna prove they point again, like they did.
What you mean as much as you don't want to?
Look,
y'all
have had some sketchy wins, but it's okay. It's okay. A win's a win.
Yeah.
But it's just hopefully this week y'all can figure something out and get it right and stop playing around with these teams.
So this is the thing is like one of the things that people were talking about is that obviously
not at all. Not at all.
Can't play with it.
I know this is the team that we can't fall behind, and going into the half at down or whatever. Like we can't do that, we have to figure it out early, come out striking early. But the thing is though, is there some times that I think about it like there could be many reasons why they do things the way they do things. Okay. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they're just a second half team. Maybe that's just who they are. Some people
the adjustments. They're able to make the adjustments, right? Both on both sides of the football. The defense does a great job of because that's what's happened, right?
Yeah.
The Chiefs put up 17 points, come back out, see some of the things on tape, clean it up. Same thing on the offensive side. That's what I would say. I'm not saying he hasn't done a good job, but that's the biggest caveat on Johnson at OC. It almost takes him a half.
But why is it that Brian Johnson's getting put on a list as head coaches or for head coach
Well,
candidates
straight. I
after
mean, I
this
mean,
year?
I mean,
Like,
that's what's happening. But the offense, when you look at the stats from last year and whatnot, it's there. There hasn't been that big of a droppage in general.
there's actually not a drop. We've actually increased.
Increase. So that's my that's just my thing. I just think Steichen was always from one quarter to fourth quarter was pretty on point, and that's the one thing I've noticed. But
Oh wow, Bama beat Georgia.
What?
should have taken the points. But that but yeah, I think that
Good old Saban.
you know he's gonna have some Debbie cream pie cookies right after the game.
I love him. He's a legend. He's on Pat McAfee too. So it's hilarious when I see him on there.
But yeah, so that's just my biggest thing with
Yeah.
the team probably. But they're a fantastic in-game adjustment team.
Yeah.
And that could be key with it. But I do think if I'm the Eagles, I guess you could look at it both sides. But if I'm the Eagles, if you have the chance, get ball first. Go down. Let's set the tone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You want to get ahead early.
Yeah.
You want to try to score 7 on first drive.
Perfect.
The same way how y'all started in the NFC Championship last year, that's
Yep.
the same way y'all got to do come
That's a
Sunday.
fact. That's a fact.
And if you don't, if y'all play how y'all played against KC and Buffalo, I think San Fran's they're gonna hold
Yeah.
y'all down.
Now, this is my last point about this game. I've said the Eagles at some point have to have a humbling game. This isn't one that I want to happen, just because of the fact that I don't want to have those Niners fans have any type of ammo, right? But it could get to the point because the Eagles have a 2-game lead against anybody else in the NFC
Right.
or against the league in general, but against the NFC. For
Dallas in particular.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that if they do beat us, we'll see them again in the playoffs when it really matters, and let's see if they're about that talk, because we're more than likely going to have home field advantage, so they're going to come back to Philly and deal with the same shit. So that's where I'll hang it up there.
Totally agree, and that's why you hit the nail on the head with everything. That's why I think of the same thing.
Yeah. All right, so let's go. Let's get these last two, because we do got some guests here at the crib. I almost wanted to be like, "Welcome to my crib," kind of do like a whole thing, like this is where.
At the end of this.
All right, now y'all gotta get the hell out of here. Y'all ain't gotta go home. We gotta get the hell out of my house.
Bro, my dad said that all the time.
No, my parents said it all the time too, and I'm like, can y'all shut up? All right, Kansas City at Green Bay. Green Bay with a shocking win. A shocking win. Yeah, that was just I was not expecting that against Detroit on Thanksgiving.
Not at all. I thought I was very confident in the Lions.
Yeah.
And
I was
a little stupid for. It seems like the Packers last 2 weeks have turned the tide a little bit. They look a little bit more like that team we saw early on. I like what I saw out of Jordan Love last week.
Yeah.
Pushed the ball down the field. The receivers had a nice day.
I don't see KC losing this game.
No, I got Kansas City.
KC, I think wins this game. You got Pat, and
I agree. I think that Green Bay is not good enough. They're just not that I think Kansas City is like we've talked about this, that they have all the talent in the world. I just think this is a game they can win.
Andy Reid knows how to make magic out of nothing.
2 things I'll note: Rashee Rice, fantastic game with Tony out, 8 catches, 107 yards, and a touchdown. He was a hot waiver ad in fantasy. Pacheco too, with McKinnon out. Man was a 3-down back, 81% of snaps, 68% of routes run, 55 yards, 2 tutties on the ground, 34 yards catching on 5 catches. I love the rest of the season, but I got Kansas City.
Yeah, I got KC as well. Green Bay, they're just
They sus.
They're sus.
everywhere. Like
They're
it's
sus,
like
yeah.
1 minute the offense want to show up, then the defense don't, and then the one day the defense want to show up and the offense is just like I don't get 'em.
They've had 2 upsets in a row. I don't see a third.
Yeah. All right, last game of the week. Cincy at Jacksonville. I don't think that there is anybody in their mind picking Cincy to win this game, unfortunately. And if Burrow was there, that'd be a different story.
Still
But
taking Jacksonville.
take
Yeah. He's taking Jacksonville, like all of us.
wait,
I said what I said.
you said
I said what I said.
even if Burrow was starting?
Yep. Oh, I missed that part.
Even if Burrow's playing,
Oh,
I still
my
got Jacksonville.
Lanta.
I said what I said.
No, sir. No.
You all right?
I'm fine.
You got the sickness that Thoppy got? You sure?
No, I'm fine.
You... All right, guys. So
Hey, I like the.
he
bold- I
said
like the
what
bold
he
take.
said.
I
Yeah,
like the bold
that's a whoa. That one. We're gonna have to revisit this one at another time because if they play again, and if Cincy busts their ass, then I'm gonna look at you and be like, "Yo, what's?"
It was an off week.
No, I got Jacksonville this week though. Jacksonville, they just look really good right now. They're playing really good. That Dougie P, love Dougie P. He just knows what he's doing down there. And I'm happy that Trevor Lawrence is starting to he's finally flourishing after that bullshit season that he had with Urban Meyer. He's flourishing and he's loving football again. That whole team's just doing well. I'm a big fan of them.
So speaking of Urban Meyer, when I see Jacksonville or Cincinnati, I think of when they won on Thursday
Oh, and then
night,
he went
and
out
he
to the
went out
bar.
to the bar.
Yeah.
Dog, I was watching that game. With
You
Chad,
dog,
so I know.
you dog, you.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
the young girls. It's so funny. There's all the memes. Those the great memes that are like, he's a family man. It's so great.
Well,
that's what I always think of.
Time out, just really quick, because I wanted to say this too. Last week on what's called College Football Sunday, freaking I forgot who. I think it was Pat McAfee that he looked at Urban Meyer. He was like, "Why does Ohio State always continue to lose against Michigan?" And he just he got real pissed off right there. And Pat was just like, "What you should not do is ask Urban Meyer."
He probably took Pat aside afterwards, like, "Don't you ever fucking do that to me again."
It was on live television.
He's so like that too.
Yo, listen, going back to what he did earlier, that whole thing with Georgia and Alabama, and look, he picked Alabama, and he's. I'm sure Pat McAfee right now is 12 beers deep, just loving life right now, probably
He makes
motorboating
some good calls.
some Alabama mom right now.
Wow.
Give it to me. Yeah, he's married. Come on, he's got a kid.
Yeah, he's a great
Yeah,
guy.
he's a great guy. I got Jacksonville too. I was going to talk about the stats, but instead I talked about Urban Meyer. The only thing I'll say is this: Dearness Johnson, he's number 2, not Tank Bigsby. So
Yeah.
if ETN's out, he's someone to stash away. Someone I have for one of my teams.
What you got here?
Oh, I was thinking what I said earlier.
Okay,
Jacksonville.
All right, bet.
Even if Burrow was playing, Jacksonville.
Burrow was playing.
All right, well, let's go ahead and move on to the betting segment. All right, so actually, I got some good ones that I screenshotted here for you guys earlier. All right, so I'm standing 10 toes down on what I said earlier about Tyreek Hill, so y'all got to definitely put that Tyreek Hill 2 touchdowns or more for this week, and that's actually a plus 380. So I'm gonna run down these, the rest of these that I have. So I have Jahmyr Gibbs anytime touchdown versus New Orleans Saints. Keenan Allen anytime touchdown against the New England Patriots. Brees Hall anytime touchdown against the Falcons. I got Najee Harris anytime touchdown against the Cards. My man Tank Dell, love Tank Dell. I think he's gonna have another good game this weekend. So I think he's gonna have an anytime touchdown against the Broncos. Zach Moss coming back, as a starter for the team. I think he's going to obviously have an anytime TD against your Tennessee Titans. And then I have
Take that.
AJ Brown, 2 touchdowns or more against the Niners. If you put $10 down on that bet, it's alone. That is actually $10 for $45,000.
Ooh.
You might as well add your Tyreek Hill 2 touchdowns too.
That's with Tyreek Hill.
That was on there.
That was on there.
I didn't hear. You said 2?
Yeah.
Oh, I heard AJ.
No, I started off with Tyreek.
Oh, 2.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
2.
He did,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. I love it.
Yep.
I love it.
Yep. So I'm standing 10 toes down on both of my boys. Tyreek, I think that's just gonna be an easy game for him. AJ, man, it's just like when like last year when we went against Pittsburgh. I remember that one game when he had 3 tutties, right? There's just games that some DBs just can't stick him. And Jalen and him have that chemistry.
But he shows up in big games.
Yeah,
too.
and if he throws that ball at the right spot, he's it could be a big game. And I'll tell you this much: if he has a ball out game this weekend, boy, you can best believe that there's going to be a bunch of talks about him getting a big ass, fat ass extension from the Eagles. They're going to be loving that. So, no, I just think that that game itself is going to be the game of the week. Of
I
course.
also want to add San Fran's secondary, not that good.
Well, and also there's their safety. He's out for the rest of the season with that
Funko.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what hurt them.
I do like Javarius Ward. I do. Is he hurt? Is he playing? Do we
No,
know?
I don't know the injury report as of right now. Let me actually look up the.
So I do like him. He's a big body cornerback. So I don't disagree with you. I do think AJ is gonna be the guy that's gonna step up versus secondary like this. But I do know Javarius Ward he's a big body corner, strong, fast guy.
So he's playing. He's not on an
Yeah.
injury report.
That'll be a good matchup. It'll be the one to watch. In my opinion.
This is what sucks is that all right. So they actually have Fletcher Cox as questionable. Zach Cunningham's out, which sucks. Now we have just Morrow and
Right.
Cunningham's been good for you guys.
Yeah,
Cunningham's
I was
been
gonna
doing
say, he's
so
playing really
good.
well for y'all.
I'm waiting to see what Shaq Leonard what he decides. But we'll see. So that's what I have for my betting. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Degs for fantasy. Lean in a little bit more too, so you can get in the camera.
I'm ugly. You don't want me in there.
Nah, we need you in here.
So fantasy segment. I love doing this. I love giving nuggets out. You guys know that. So I have 5 for you today. First, starting off, so I have the most rushing yards in the NFL since week 9, right? So the last 3 or 4 weeks here. Jalen Warren's number 1, 367 yards rushing. Number 2 is Josh Jacobs, right on his tail, 363. Devin Singletary, 306. Christian McCaffrey, 287. And number 5 on the list, Najee Harris,
Oh wow.
285. So when you put that together, right, that's that 285 plus 367. That's incredible. That run game is booming. They've totally turned that around. So if they're gonna win versus the Cardinals, it's because of that,
Yep.
in my opinion.
Yep.
So that's something to keep an eye on there, guys. Number 2, start Rashad White this week. He's coming off his best game in yards per carry at 6.7. Carolina is a bottom 5 run defense. They've allowed 5th most yards, 3rd most fantasy points to running backs. Great start. If you're in between players there, he's someone to put in there. Someone to buy. If some of the deadlines here next week's the last week for deadlines, Tank Dell, right? No surprise. And a lot of the things I'm saying here is a lot of your anytime touch. It's funny, some of these guys here. Tank Dell, potential top 10 receiver rest of the season, in my opinion. 12th in efficiency and 7th in fantasy points per route run. he faces the Titans twice in the fantasy playoffs, who've allowed 9th most in yards and points to receivers. So if you're making a late season push, you're looking maybe there's a bigger name. You give him up, you get Tank Dell. I like that. Number 4, Trey McBride. I mentioned him earlier. I'm a big fan of him, which is why I think he could have a huge day versus the Steelers. In 5 games without Ertz, 8.8 targets per carry, 14.8 fantasy football points per game, third in efficiency of tight ends. He's a top 5 tight end rest of the season, in my opinion. And then lastly, I talked about this, and I'm just going to reiterate it because I actually think he's another big buy guy, is Isaiah Pacheco. 5 catch performance with McKinnon out, 81% of snaps, 68% of routes run, 9 high volume touches, 2 touchdowns. He may have solidified himself as a 3-down back now. They might not even use McKinnon. Why? Why do you have to if he's so dynamic like
Right.
that? And I think it's very possible. So those are things going into late in the season here. I think these are guys to think about.
Nice. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. You got anything to say before we conclude?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you both for having me. And also shouting me out my flag football team, Big Woo.
Hell yeah.
Big Woo in the
Hell
chat,
yeah.
you know.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That's actually my 5th championship.
Yep.
Supposed to retire.
Oh, we gave you a shout out too.
Yes, I did. I did hear that. I
yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
it, and I love that. And I
5 straight seasons, 1,000 yards.
whoa, hold on now.
I'm putting 2 tutties on Ronnie to go ahead and have tomorrow.
Hold on.
I got some cash on.
Look, I'm getting up there. You know, I might have. You know, we playing in the winter, so you
Ooh.
know, January 6th, just in case anybody want to show some love. Come out. We got our quarterback back.
Let me know so I can come out and take some photos too.
Oh yes, we've been talking about that. We've been wanting you to come
and
back.
now I got the camera. Yeah,
yes,
that I got.
Yeah. When it's one of those warm winter days like today,
I don't give a damn. Get me out there.
It's cold.
I got a big ass jacket. I'll go ahead and I'm good. I'm good.
All right. I'll remember that. If you don't,
You got video evidence.
oh, I got a whole lot of evidence now.
I'm here.
Recording video.
I'm here.
Yeah. Definitely especially when you came out that one game. I mean, granted, it was a blowout, but you came out, we loved it.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, they were hitting me up like, "Yo, when we getting our pictures?" I was like, "Yo, give him some time. He does have a job." But we loved it, and we were so happy that you came
Appreciate
out and
that.
took those pictures for
I
us.
appreciate that.
So we definitely got to do it again.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'll let you know once I get the schedule and everything.
Bet.
Send it to
Bet.
you. So
Say less.
it's gonna be fun.
Well,
Wait.
fam, as we always do when we conclude, if you ain't doing anything, go ahead and crack yourself a cold one. So before we go ahead and conclude, let's do our last one. Cheers.
Cheers, boys. Thanks for coming on, Ron.
Thank you for having me.